Hey there, it's Dr. Brenda, founder of the Gutsy Women Club, the Dream Plan Save Do program, sociologist, financial coach, full-time RVer, traveling the country with my 3 cats. So coming at you today from the border of Idaho and Utah. I'm at an Idaho State Park, about to head south. It's getting a little chilly here in the morning. Hope you're doing well. Please subscribe below. I'd love for you to follow along. If you are already following, please pass this site on to a friend. I want to reach as many people as I can. Give them a taste of tips of, for money, how to be gutsy, all this great stuff. All right, today I have been spending a lot of time the last couple of weeks thinking about working class. And I carry my working class roots with me forever. They're always going to be a part of me. And I began to think about how that impacts my business, my entrepreneurship, and it does have some impacts. So, in the spirit of Jeff Foxworthy, who used to do, or maybe still does, you might be a redneck if, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give you might have a working class mentality if, you ready? Okay, you might have a working class mentality if you think Wall Street is just a movie. Okay, so if you're born working class, your parents probably didn't have much more than a high school education, used to working with their hands, getting that paycheck. The more you worked, the more you got paid. You learn about savings, you learn about frugality, oftentimes. You learn nothing about investing. Wall Street, what is Wall Street? What's an index fund? Oh, I can't invest in stocks. That's too risky. That's scary. So, yep, you think Wall Street is just a movie. You might have a working class mentality if the work week extends into the weekends. You're used to working. That's what you do. That's how you value your life. But it's also, you have such a strong work ethic. And one of the things that happens too is even when you move up to the top of the food chain or closer towards, the blue collar, the white collar, the elite, it still can be a strain to think of paying somebody else to do the things that you can do yourself, like hiring a housekeeper, hiring someone to take care of the yard. Because if you've got that working class mentality, well, I can do it. I can save money. I can use my time. You don't, that comes with the working class mentality. You overwork, strong work ethic, which is fantastic, serves you well in a lot of settings, but not in all settings. Okay, you might have a working class mentality if you have to ask which fork to use with the salad. Okay, when I grew up, I had a fork, a knife, a spoon. I didn't have all these varieties. So to go to a fancy place when I was just starting out on my career, say, what are all these utensils? There's one up here on top of the plate. What are all these utensils? What am I supposed to do, with all that? You don't know the code, okay? There's a code. If you are raised white collar, you're raised where you're going to these types of things as a kid, you know how to behave, you know how to respond to things, you know who you should talk to, who you shouldn't, you know which fork to use. Okay, so you don't know the code. You got to learn the code. All right, you might have a working class mentality if you feel like an imposter in your white collar career. Now, I moved up, way up to the top of my field. I worked with chief justices. I worked with, high government officials. I even testified in front of Congress. Now, I knew my stuff. I knew it from top to bottom. I was very confident in what I was doing and the information I was giving. But there was always part of me is like, you know what? You're this farm girl from Wisconsin. What are you doing? What are you doing sitting here in front of, the congressman? What are you doing? So you got to kind of fight that imposter syndrome, even when your career trajectory, you're way up at the top and you're still kind of in your working class mentality. And you might have a working class mentality if you suffer from foot in the mouth disease. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? This is one of my faults. All right, honesty, straightforwardness, those were the values that I was raised on. And sometimes, more than once, I've hurt someone's feelings because I've got the foot in the mouth disease. I say what comes immediately to my mind. I don't always censor myself like I should. I'm going to blame my working class mentality on it. I got one more for you. You might have a working class mentality if you think jeans are for formal occasions. Okay. Now this is, I don't even have my jeans on today. Okay. Yeah, I really buy into that. Now, I grew up on that farm, and you wore jeans out in the barn. You had your work clothes, and everything was going to get dirty and icky, and you had your going to church clothes, and there were not much in between, some school clothes. That's it. And yeah, jeans are formal. Jeans are for formal occasions. I totally buy into that now. Now, the world has caught up with that little trick to some extent. Now, I'm a financial coach. I am unlike so many other financial coaches and financial consultants because they are into appearances, okay? They've got their $10,000, outfit on with the gold earrings and the beautiful makeup and the long fancy fingernails, and they think that's going to attract them to the clients they want. Now, I'm of a different mode. I just said I'm RVing, so I'm dressed to RV. I'm dressed to enjoy the outdoors. And if you're looking for somebody who is into all that superficial stuff, then I'm not your person. I am into, what are you going to use that money for? I'll help you grow the wealth so that you can do the things that are important to you, whatever that may be. But yeah, in the financial world, I am an outlier. I'm not going for all that fancy stuff. I think a lot of it does have to do with my working class roots. Now, I want to tell you one way where I am an entrepreneur. And this last 2 weeks, I've been working with this dynamite team of women who were the first into my paid version of the Gutsy Women Club. And they have been giving me all kinds of feedback, honest advice. And I'm into the third iteration, trying to develop the third iteration. And one day I just stopped and said, you know what? My working class mentality is holding me back. My working class mentality is making it difficult to be a successful entrepreneur. What do I mean by that? When I grew up, summertime was hay baling season. I got paid a penny for a bale of hay. So I'd be on that wagon lifting the hay, or I'd be driving that tractor. Tractor driver got paid a little less, or be in the mow and, get paid my penny for each bale. So there was a counter on that hay baler. And so my dad would check it in the morning, and he'd check it when we were finished. Sometimes we weren't done till after milking, but we got paid a penny a bale. So on a good day, you got 1,000 bales in, you got $10. Now that's a lot of money for a kid that age. And everything that I did, if I went in the barn twice a week or 3 times a week, everything got paid. I got paid based on the quantity. Now, certainly I was a kid and I didn't get paid much, but that has ingrained in my head that my income, my salary, is connected to how much work I do, how much quantity I put out. I am a content creating queen. That is what I do. I love creating content. But then a lot of it sits there. People don't want all that stuff. So that's my mind shift. It's like, okay, I'm creating this club, producing all this fantastic stuff. People just want a club. They want a community. So I've got to back away from the idea that people want more information, want more tools, want more quantity. Now, I'm headed into a workshop. I'm going to put the link in the description because I've got Financial Freedom for Women workshops coming up. And I'm creating an agenda. And it's like, it can look intimidating, but I'm going to walk you all through it. And just It's all about the basics. I can give you the worksheets that don't need to complicate things. I'm really good at simplifying things. But yeah, I see people who have almost nothing to sell, but they spend all this money on ads and they spend all this money on fluff, and I see them successful. And I'm of the opposite, where I'm creating substance, I'm creating things of value. But my marketing isn't quite there, and I don't play games with you. I'm not going to tell you you can make $1 million in 28 days. I'm not going to tell you that. There are no tricks. I'm not a huckster. And there's something about sales that feels a little dirty to me. So all of those things are working class mentality things that I have got to get past. And I have learned it's not the quantity. And I'm trying to, now that I'm in the RV and I'm traveling the country, there are times when I don't have Wi-Fi, I cannot get to my work. It drives me a little nuts. But I've got to get to a place in my life where that working class mentality doesn't destroy my own entrepreneur dreams, where I work with my ethics, I work with my honesty. All of those things have value. I will always be working class. I can have millions of dollars in the bank. I have a working class mentality. I'm proud to be working class. I'd love to work with you too. So, hey, if you are working class, how does it impact your wealth? Do you know how to invest? Do you know how to mingle with the wealthier people who might help you with those connections? Do you know how to network? How do you feel about that? All right, that's it. I have got to get back to the RV, get everything ready to roll. It's going to be another moving day, which is always filled with a little trepidation. It's Christmas morning. I'm headed to a new park. Am I going to get the lump of coal, or am I going to get that sweet, beautiful present? Hoping it's that beautiful present. You guys take care. And hey, let me know in the comments what you think, and if your working class mentality, how that impacts you. Take care until the next Money Monday. I'm out of here.